Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is your guide Olena from Ukraine, and in this video I will be taking you to the city center of Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine, to show you what we have around, what is the mood in the street, what people think. Listen, this is the Ukrainian hymn, the Ukrainian anthem. Як роса на сонці, запануємо ми, браття, у своїй сторонці, душу й тіло ми положим за нашу свободу і покажем, що ми браття козацького роду. I've never heard this before. It's like the Ukrainian anthem on the bell tower of the St. Michael's Cathedral. Wow! That definitely makes me feel more patriotic, and I love Ukraine. I love my homeland. Probably you know that today was supposed by some media that maybe today the war would start here in Ukraine. But as you can see, it didn't. So what we have a very normal, peaceful day, which is basically is not very much different from the other days. The only difference that you can see if you are attentive is that on the local buildings we have the Ukrainian flags there and over there, because today we are celebrating basically. The president of Ukraine 2 days ago, he announced that the new holiday will be officially celebrated in Ukraine on the 16th of February.
Нам кажуть, що 16 лютого стане днем нападу. Ми зробимо його днем єднання.
Some people joke that, oh yes, the reaction is like from the comedy Don't Look Up. It's like the real danger is coming, and Ukrainian president, instead of increasing defense, he is like proposes to celebrate, you know, to put on vyshivanka, the Ukrainian national costumes, and to go on the streets and wave the Ukrainian flags. Like, will it protect the country from the real military invasion from the enemy? Well, this is the symbol. Yes, this helps Ukrainians not to panic, and it helps Ukrainians to understand that we are united, we one country, and we will protect our borders. You know, even some of you guys in the comments you wrote me like, Olena, don't worry, over there in Kyiv, Putin will not attack Kyiv, he will just take a little bit from the east of Ukraine. So it's very important to know for people in the east of Ukraine that the west and the east are together, that we will not give up, just will not give away any part of Ukraine, because for me Kharkiv is as much as important as Kyiv. All of it is my country, my state, and it needs to be protected. Yes, this is why unity is so much important. So today on the streets we have the Ukrainian flags, but as you can see, you know, there is not much of action happening here around, because no really any events are announced for today. It's just a normal working day. Most of the people, they are at work. My children, my daughter is at school, my son is in the kindergarten, and my husband, he has the day off simply because it is his day off. This is why I'm working here for this YouTube channel while my husband stays with Darina at home. And thank you very much for my Patreon supporters and for the other people who send me donations, that you give me the salary for this work. Thank you very much for sponsoring this YouTube channel. Yeah, so just a normal day. Yesterday, by the way, I was contacted by a media which is called India Today. They were looking for a journalist to report, to stream from the city center. and they proposed me to do this because I am an English-speaking journalist, but this is my background too. But I refused and said that I decided I'd better do this for this YouTube channel. There is a lot of media attention about today, and even now when I walk I see a lot of international journalists. And what India today wanted from me, they wanted me to show crowds of people on the streets with Ukrainian flag, a military parade, some action happening. But guys, it's really not happening at all. Yes, there is no action happening here today. All the action is happening in the media and in the social media, but not really on the streets. Hello, excuse me, can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question for my YouTube channel about Ukraine?
But I'm a journalist too.
I know, yes. Why are you here?
I'm covering the crisis here between Ukraine and Russia.
How does it feel for you? You know the news, yes. So how does it feel? What's your
Nobody
opinion?
knows what will happen. Nobody knows what will actually happen. So we are waiting to see what will happen here.
For how long will you stay here? For how long we should wait and be afraid here in Ukraine?
We don't know. Maybe weeks, maybe months, if it, maybe days, if everything okay.
So I can see there are many journalists. We are a journalist over there, are a journalist. So everybody expecting today the war to start. Yeah, 16th of February. That was in the news that maybe there will be the attack.
This is the big day. So
yes.
we are hoping to go well without any war. If this day ended without war, so I think the most important day is over.
Hi, are you a foreigner?
Yes.
Can I ask you a few questions on the way?
I don't know why.
It's for my YouTube channel, What is Ukraine? Everybody were expecting the war to start today. Were you expecting it?
No.
No? Why?
No. This just doesn't make any sense.
What is your name? Where are you from? What
Ignacio.
are you doing? What are you doing in Kyiv?
Okay, I'm Moscow correspondent for the Spanish news agency for 18 years. So I have been coming to Ukraine very often in these last 10 years. So here I come to Ukraine, that's bad news for Ukraine, usually. But this time I think I don't think it will be a war. I think, no. Putin, of course, is, how to say, crazy, but not that crazy to invade Ukraine, like the Americans and the British are telling. They have a very, very big fantasy in their heads. I don't think, and I talked to many other journalists, local journalists and Ukrainians, and just few people think that Russia is going to invade Ukraine. Of course, they have the thought in their heads, but I don't think there will be an invasion.
So you are working there for 18 years, and
Yes.
all of this time there was a bit of tension between Ukraine and Russia all the time, right?
All the time.
But why is it so much increased right now? Why everybody is here this time?
Oh, it's difficult. Of course, it's difficult to say. Why now? It's because the tension is increasing since the Orange Revolution in 2004. It's 18 years ago. So it was increasing. Several of the peak was in 2013 when they, of course, they kick in February 2014. They kick Yanukovych, the president. So after that, Putin decided to took Crimea, took back, like he said, and after to support the rebellion in Donbass. So that was the peak. After that, the tension was never down. I mean, was almost in the same level. In the last year, in April, a lot of forces were also in the frontier. Why now? Because now there is a negotiation between the West and Russia. That's my opinion. This is not about Ukraine anymore. It's about Russia and the West. So that's why I think it will be not a war, because if it was a war, there will be a war now between Ukraine and Russia, and between the West and Russia. So this is like a play of cards, and Ukraine is in the middle. That's the problem for Ukraine.
Yeah, that was always a problem of Ukraine.
Yes.
The First World War, the Second World War, all of this, the battlefield.
In the crosspath between Russia and the rest of the world. But honestly, I think no war.
Can I ask you how it feels for you, not as a journalist, but just as a person, to be here today in Kyiv? How
Yes,
it feels?
okay.
What's in the
You
air?
know, for many journalists that are working in this part of the world for many years, Kyiv is a special place. Special place for us as a person, as a journalist, because we covered the revolution, we covered the Crimea, we covered the war in Donbass.
Ukrainians know how to make a show here,
yes,
for the news.
Ukrainian people, they are very special and very different from Russians. I'm not saying they're better. No, you cannot say that, because there are different persons in any country. My country, your country. No, what I'm saying is that Russians are more close. Ukrainians are more like Latin Slavs. I'm Spanish, so I feel quite close to the Ukrainians. They are a lot of people in Ukraine very open, very generous. At the same time, they're very passionate, like the people from the Caucasus. So it's a mix between Latin, Caucasus, Slav, and sometimes they explode. And we have revolutions, war, and everything. But as I said before, I insist, it will be peace, but for Ukraine will be very difficult, of course, to build a prosperous country. It will be difficult because they have a very big and threatened neighbor, Russia. So it will be very difficult. But you know, I'm optimistic. I think Ukraine has a lot of bright people, a lot of resources. I think maybe, I don't know, in 1 generation or 2, it will be a normal country. Let's cross the fingers.
Thank you so much. So some of you tell me, Olena, the war with Russia will not start, but I have some bad news for you. It has already started. And here we have the portraits of people who died in this war. The war started in 2014. That was a well-planned military attack on Ukraine. And undercover, the Russian Federation, the Russian regime, had occupied Crimean Peninsula in the south of Ukraine and the regions in the east of Ukraine. Now, in my previous video, I was saying that the West did not react enough in 2014 when Russia attacked Ukraine for the first time and had broke into our country. And the Western reaction was not enough, and Putin was not punished, and this is why he feels like he can do whatever he wants. So first of all, this is why it is very important to have this huge media attention about what's happening right now in Ukraine, for the Russian regime not to feel that they can do whatever they want. And the other thing that it is very important for Ukrainians right now to react enough to. Yeah, so one of you guys, you said in the comment, like, you blame the West that the reaction was not enough, but what about Ukrainians? How did they react? You know, in the very beginning, no, the reaction was not enough. No, we did not defend our country enough, but we did not expect this to happen. Yes, so Putin had taken Ukraine by complete surprise. At this time, Ukraine was in a deep crisis in 2013-14 when the Revolution of Dignity was happening here. So back then, Ukraine was really on fire. But you see, if you have a neighbor whose house is on fire, what do? Do you help him to extinguish the fire? Or you run into his house and you steal something? This is exactly what Putin did. He invaded into Ukraine and he just had stolen a piece of our country, a very beautiful piece of our country, by the way. Crimea is just amazing. Me and my husband, we just love this place. We often visited it before the occupation. So you said there was not enough of reaction. That is what followed next, yes. Then Ukrainians woke up and started to defend their country. And all these people, Ukrainians, they died in this war with Russia. And I want to remember that Ukraine was not invading anybody else. Yes, Ukraine was not going behind its borders. They came here to our sovereign independent country to take it by force under their control, by military interference. The situation right now is very different from 2014, because in 2014, as I say, we were not very well prepared for this Russian attack. But right now we have a well-trained army. Now we have people who are ready to take the weapons in their hands and protect their own native Ukrainian land. And if in 2014, yes, it's true that some people, especially in the eastern regions of Ukraine, in the south of Ukraine, they believed that Putin is a kind king and he will come and save them from some aggressive Ukrainian nationalist banderisty, they were saying, at us like fascists at power. Right now people understand that this is bullshit. There is no fascism in Kyiv. Our authorities in Kyiv, maybe they are not perfect, maybe they are corrupted and maybe they are idiots, but for sure they are not racist and fascist and whatever. They say this is quite a democratic thing what is happening here in Kyiv. So right now people are disillusioned, and if Putin comes today to any part of Ukraine, in the east, in the south, in the north, in the east, in the center, nobody will be meeting him with bread and salt. He will meet Ukrainian people who, with the weapon, will protect their homes from the aggressor. Guys, I just want you to realize that these are not just pictures on the wall. They are not just, cartoons. These are the faces of the real people who really died defending Ukrainian independence. And it's so important and it's so essential to understand this and remember this. And it's very important, not to increase the number of these portraits here. However, it is very important to keep Ukraine independent. I just want to say, just this guy, yes, he's as old as me. He was born in 1986 when Chornobyl exploded and when I was born too. So we are of the same age. And this guy here, he is even younger. Yes, and he died in 2014. 14, the same day. How does it feel today? Because they were in the news, there was the news that maybe today the war will start in Ukraine.
In this situation, yes.
Yes.
This is information war. We feel normal. If you think and happy, you normal.
Today it was supposed like a day of Russian invasion. What do you feel about it? What do you think about this?
We think that we don't want it because we are getting married this year.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, we a little bit, out of this news, this is all information. But yeah, we yesterday heard this information that maybe it can be a day of war.
Were you afraid?
A little bit, maybe. We were scared, but we understand that it can be not true because it's a lot of information around. Nobody begin war when they tell that war will begin like this day. It's just strange and stupid a little bit. So, yep.
I'm a journalist.
Looks like all the foreigners I meet today are journalists. So are you disappointed today?
I am, yeah, actually. Yeah, I am.
Why?
Well, I thought there was going to be a little bit more of movement, but I understand also because it's been years and years of this situation, so you cannot expect the people to be in the streets by thousands every day. So my intention today was to show the readers that the Ukrainians are together, just that. For war action, you have to go to east, so no. But anyways.
And we are together. We are just, I'm Ukrainian. we just keep calm because we know it's happening since 2014, and this is just another day under the Russian threat. But at the same time, on behalf of Ukrainian people, I want to say thank you for all of this media attention. In fact, what is happening today is just a normal working day in Kyiv. Nothing really special is happening, and this is why some of these foreign journalists, they are quite disappointed because it's normal. Yes, there is no big show happening on the streets. So this is a beer pub thing, and it works to push. Hello, not many people. Hello. Yeah, so again, everything is opened, everything works normally. Really, as always, nothing special happening here. Like just normal day. And now, guys, I want to bring you here. This is the main square of Kyiv, of the capital of Ukraine. It is called Майдан Незалежності, which means Independence Square. And it's for a reason why this main square is called Independence Square, because independence, this is something very important for my people. You know, this is the core, essential idea for the Ukrainian nation. So let me show you what is different right now here than usually. We have many flags around. So here on Globus, which is the underground trading center, there is a Ukrainian flag. On the lights, they put the flag. Well, we have the flag over there on the top of the building. On the main post office, we have the flag, and there is a huge flag over there on the glass of Globus, which is the shopping mall underground. Yes, but this is the facade of our main square. So one more thing I want to say about all of these journalists. Now you know what they really think about what's going on. I want to say that like some of you blamed that they were panicking too much, exaggerating, and that was bad. I think it was good. I think this was needed. First of all, that was informational battle that Ukraine won and Russia not. Like imagine that somebody wants to rob a bank. I want to tell you something that I've heard from my good friend. He is a tour guide in Poland, Boryspil, and he said, like, imagine that somebody wants to rob a bank, and all of a sudden everybody knows about this, and the media, the journalists from all over the world are coming to this bank, and they're filming it, go live, stream for this place, and say, like, from 1 minute to minute, the criminal can come here and rob the bank. Now imagine you are the criminal. Maybe you will change your mind and you will not rob the bank, at least today, and you step back. So maybe because of this huge media attention, nothing really terrible happened today, and we have such a normal, peaceful and boring day. This is great, and I'd like to say thank you basically to all of these journalists who came here to report about this, and I say thank you to all of them who will stay here for some time, and I say thank you to you guys that you follow the news from Ukraine. Thanks to all of this huge media attention that I believe that helped to prevent the real Russian invasion into Ukraine. Yeah, this is what I think. So the war didn't happen, and maybe somebody even is disappointed with this because they were expecting the real show. What I feel is a deep relief. Like, I am the person that as well believed that the invasion will not happen today, but I confess that I feel a deep relief because there were no guarantees, because everything depended on the will of one person, and you know what does he really have in mind. So yes, I worried in my heart, but at the same time my mind was telling me that this shouldn't happen. But yes, at the same time I was worried. This is why right now I feel deep relief. At the same time, we understand that it's not the end. Yes, the war lasts since 2014, so it's not something new that's happening here. We are used to this fact, and it will still be happening in the future. But of course we hope that this problem will be solved by negotiations and by diplomatical means, and the war will not be happening on the rest of the territories of Ukraine. It's really essential. This day of unity is very important to show that Ukraine is united, and all of the regions of Ukraine are equally important for Ukrainian people, and that we believe in our country and in our state, and we will keep it independent, and we will fight for this independence if needed. But of course nobody wants to fight here, nobody wants to war. We want to have peaceful, normal life. Let it be peaceful, maybe boring, but everyday hard work is essential and very important for the future of this country.